Greetings to you. Firstly, I do acknowledge the inconsistency with the scheduling of my show, and it has inconvenienced a lot of you. I take responsibilities for that. And the excuse that I've been offering from time to time is because of my private life schedule and the responsibilities that I have away from serving you. Sometimes it interferes with my timing, and therefore I have to be in this unpredictable schedule daily. I do beg the universe that some amount of stability can come in my future. Therefore, I can be consistent. I can be dedicated to one time. Then a lot of you can schedule that and okay, at this time, Dr. Prasad is on, and so on and so forth. YouTube is not necessarily reliable to give the notifications to the persons who are following. But I do hope that that can be sorted out. For those of you who have not yet subscribed, please do. And in that way, you can have reminders as to the streaming is now or it has happened. So I invite you to subscribe as you watch the show. Just click on the subscribe button there, or make a comment, say something that you think might be necessary towards the beauty and stability and continued progress of our country we call Guyana. Today I have very deeply troubling, not news, well, news to this forum. Whatever I bring out on this show, it is breaking news because it's the first time you would hear it on this show. Maybe you would have heard it on other platforms. I'm not following those, so I'm not familiar with what they say there. But when I bring something to you, it's the first time I am bringing it to you. So yes, it's breaking news. In every respect, everything that has to do with Guyana is my concern. Be it political, religious, economic, social, whatever it is my concern. I'm not here to just talk about issues to get the PPP in government or to make the PPP look good. No, I'm all inclusive. I comment on everything that is pertinent towards the safety, development, and future of Guyana, and by extension, Guyanese. If we are a truly sovereign nation, then we must act as a sovereign nation. We must stand up for our sovereignty and be independent in the true sense. For what I have seen, President Irfan Ali, I've made comparisons, and so do many of you, as to former presidents and their behaviors and the way they've acted internationally and how their policies have either brought Guyana closer or caused Guyana to be drifted apart on an international platform. I must give credit that to date, as in 2025, President Irfan Ali has done remarkable as it relates to attracting respect and interest towards Guyana. And I must say investment. And for that, it certainly would cause the green eye monster from other governments who are not at that level, who are incapable of delivering that amount of greatness for their nations. Of course, there'll be an amount of animosity, amount of backbiting, amount of sabotage and things like that towards Guyana. Simply because our president, that we should always rally behind, that we should always stand up for. And even if we have criticisms for him, we should keep that criticisms and those criticisms away from the internet. Because the internet is not only accessed by Guyanese, the internet is accessed by everyone on earth, regardless of where they are. All they need to do is to type Guyana, and all the relevant issues about Guyana will come before their eyes. It matters not where in the world they are. It's one internet. It's one Facebook. It's one TikTok, one Instagram, one YouTube. All it takes is a search on any of the platform, and all the things related to Guyana will pop up, giving information to whomever out of Guyana's borders wish to learn about Guyana. The information is there. And guess what? More often than not, it is the negatives that usually dominates the search results. For persons to really get to the positives, you have to click all the way down, thousands of sites and pages before you actually get to the truth about what Guyana is. But the first 10 pages that anybody from another country searching of Guyana, they'll get negativity, bad news, crime, corruption, robbery, murder. That's what they get. So I have to caution that when we type things on social media or the internet that brings a negative image to our country, we all suffer. It's not the PNC or the PPP or the Win Party or whoever suffers. No, Guyanese citizen suffers as a result of the negative portrayal of Guyana from its citizens. It happened during the time of the PNC. In order to discredit the functions of the PNC government, there were factions, there were people who were anti-PNC, yes, some from the PPP, who were pushing negative fake news on the internet about the PNC government, about Granger, in order to withhold support. But whatever support was withheld because of the negative publicity that any government, the Granger government, would have experienced during the time they were there, who suffered? Let's think about it. Who suffered? The Granger administration suffered? They didn't. They continue to get their checks. They continue to get their money and their perks. They continue to travel wherever they want. They continue to eat the best, wear the best, dress the best, and fuck the best. Who were the ones that suffered? Who suffered as a result of tourists not coming to the country? The businesses in Guyana suffered. Who suffered as a result of the bad image that was projected over Guyana? Guyanese, because when Guyanese left to go to other countries and they announced that they are from Guyana, the people in those other countries who would have learned about Guyana, their first reaction is, oh, they're from that poor country that is corrupt, that is crime infested. We have to be careful. But those are not the facts. Those were the facts that the people who were against the governments put online. And it is happening again. Those who wish to make President Ali look bad, they've done it since 2020. They call him a dictator, a racist, a divider, a crook, corrupt, this and that, all names you could think about. It was not easy for the president now to undo the damage, to do damage control. He took it on himself to personally address by his lifestyle all the critics who were spreading fake news online. He took it on himself. And he lived every day during the 5 years of his government, lived every day to contradict what the other side were saying. And it helped because those who were posting online, they couldn't help but to post what they saw. And what they saw coming from the president were contrary to what was being pushed from the other side. The rest of the world saw that, hey, Guyana is not that bad. They have a good president. And if we have to judge the country or the nation based on the president, we'll say, hey, we can go take a look. Let's go travel to Guyana. Let's go and experiment because, hey, look at the president. He's a good guy. Look at what he's doing. Look at his lifestyle. It took the president, President Irfan Ali, to change the perception internationally of Guyana. He did it alone. Granger didn't do it. Ramatar didn't do it. Jagdeo didn't do it. There are two persons in the history of Guyana to date that did what they had to do. They make the sacrifice to change the image internationally. And that was Dr. Jagan and now Dr. Irfan Ali. Only two men in the history of Guyana. So what today we have to deal with is what we have at stake. While we would have slept in the past and allow all these pundits and all these racists and all these jealous people to keep pushing and peddling fake news and bad news about our country, and we sit back and say, well, I hate the PPP, so let them this, or I hate the PNC, let them this, we have to stop that nonsense. Elections is over. All the things, the sentiments that would surface during elections, all the racists and the bigots and all those people who would surface during elections time, your reign is over. Quiet now. Quiet now. Leave the messaging, leave the promotion for patriots, people who want the best for Guyana, like me. Leave that kind of task for people like me. Because I'm not coming on the platform with any prejudice, bigotry, racism, or ill intentions towards the nation Guyana. I'm not, and definitely not towards the president. I'm not. The rest of you can take a break. Gossip amongst yourself. Gossip in your household. Don't bring it to social media. The internet is one. Stop this nonsense. I'll pause there for a moment. There was a case recently, it's still pending, it's still going on, that involved a police officer, an Indo-Guyanese police officer, and what seemed to be an Amerindian 15-year-old. What seemed to be. Is she an Indian or Amerindian? I don't know, but from the pictures, I think she looks like an Amerindian female. The reason why when I'm addressing these issues, I use the right pronoun female, it is because a female with a vagina is born a female. She's not born a girl and then she grew up into a woman. She's born a female. The different stages in that female's development is how God designed it, how nature intended it. Whatever the feminist movement, whatever legislation, whatever social group, whatever they want to pronounce or denounce or structure, that is no consequence to what I have to say when I'm addressing issues like that. All right? I'm an independently thinking person. But when it comes to society, I am forced to follow the rules of engagement, because if I don't, the perception might cause me to have a different overview, so to speak. But let me address that situation directly. My mother and my father, my memory serves me right. This is what they told me. And when you look back at the numbers, it is so. My father engaged engaged my mother when she just turned 15. Engaged her, put a ring on her finger in Guyana. At the time, if memory served me right, my father would have been 30, I think, around 30 years old. If memory served me right. My father, biological father, and he was in the discipline services of Guyana at the time. Discipline services. And most of his brothers at the time were cops, police officers. My father engaged my mother with the consent of her relatives, of her mother, her father, and everybody. My mom was still in high school. Her first born son was given birth to, not I, my mother's firstborn son was given birth to. She pushed him out. She wasn't 16. She wasn't 16 years when she pushed him out. My mother made all her kids, all her children, about 6 of us. No, 5 of us. Before she was 20. Before she was 20 years old, she gave birth to 6 children. I mean, 5 children. You get where I'm coming from? Anybody would have the audacity to call my father a pedophile or call my father, I always call it child molester. Anybody can have the audacity to do that right now. In Guyana, my mother's still alive, well educated. She's a retired teacher, flexible. I'm a product. Before she was 20, she gave birth to me. I think she was, what, 17 years old? 18? I can't remember, but around that time. She wasn't 20 when she gave birth to me. Sometimes I have to try my best to see how much I can break these sentiments down so that I can spoon feed, take a spoon and feed all the losers who are so hypocritical and pretentious. They come on social media, they come in front of the media, whatever it is, and they cuss out men who are in relationships with young females. They cuss them out. If it was up to them, they would stone these men to death because they have relationships with young females. But they forget history. They're forgetting their own parents, their own grandparents, their own great grandparents. All of them forgetting that. They're conveniently, their memory, they have amnesia when it comes to their own past. That they come out now, and that police officer that has to publicly deny being in a consensual relationship with what you consider a teenager. But in the eyes of your fucking Bible, your Quran, your Gita, and Mother Nature, that's a woman. In the eyes of nature and all the religious text from where most of your laws came from, that's a woman, not a teenager, a woman. What constitutes a woman? Let's talk about that. A female is not born a woman. A female is born a female. She evolves to a woman. What makes her a woman? Womb. Womb. What's the womb? That organ that is responsible for giving birth to me, to you, and all them judges, all them police officers, all them red thread, and all of them. If it was not for the womb, they would not be there. That's the only thing that is different. So the womb, the development of the womb, the maturity of their womb is only dependent on one fucking factor. One. What's that? Periods. Menstrual cycle. That's it. When a female, you can put whatever term you want, adolescence, whatever term you want. God didn't design it like that. Mankind did recently. Recently, man did. And not man, it was pushed by the feminist movement. When a female begins her menses, when she begins to have monthly discharges, menstruation, what does that mean? There are two things that are significant where that's concerned. One, it means that her womb is ready for what? Conception. And two, she's ovulating. She begins to ovulate. She's producing eggs. What the fuck eggs mean? What does egg mean? Eggs mean that she's ready to get pregnant. How can a female get pregnant? She has to get a penis that goes in the vagina and eject sperm. That's it. So the same way, how you have the need to go to the toilet when your intestines are jacked up, you feel that urge, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go. And when you go to the toilet and you're having problems defecating, your whole day is messed up because you know you have not satisfied your bowels. So you're on edge, you're naggy, you're irritated. What would you do? You get laxative, right? Because you need to get that out. You need to have the release, the relief, the pleasures of relief. You need that. Think of a young female who begins to menstruate, whatever age she is. She has to deal with hot sweat, lubricated vagina, engorged clitoris, fantasies or wet dreams, the need for penetration. When she goes to shower, she can't even touch herself to wash because when she touches herself, she gets. Yes, that's what females experience. Close to their menstruation, during their menstruation and after their menstruation. Then the middle of the month, which is like 14 days, they go through it all over again in the ovulation. Every female, from the time they begin their menstrual cycle to when they reach menopause, they go through it every month. Those who are told, oh, it's against God if you touch yourself, they're being told that very young. Oh, no, it's the devil. Don't touch yourself. Oh, my God, don't do that. You're going to hell. So that young female who owns that body, it's her body, it's her vagina, it's her boobs. She got to bathe herself. She has to soap herself. She got to oil her body. She's going through it. And nobody else understands unless you are a female and you're a fucking hypocrite. Unless you are a female and you are a hypocrite, you can't deny anything I'm saying right now. You know what girls, as you want to call them, who are going through their menstrual cycle every month, you grown ass females know what they're experiencing. You know. But you see, you grown ass females, you have the option to go find yourself a dildo if you don't have a man. You have the option to masturbate if you don't have a man. Or if you have a man, you have the option and the pleasures of having a dick. And even if you don't have a man, you have the sick agenda and the sick option to go with another female and you grind yourself to orgasm or you eat each other. You have that option, right? Why do you take that road? But the young females, they have to live their days and nights in fear of touching themselves because some invisible God is going to see, or they'll get blind, or their vagina is going to get so big, no man would want them. That's what you instill in those young females. I used to hear it too as a young man. I was always horny way before my maturity came. I was horny. I used to walk around in school. From the time a girl touches me, there's a hard hump in front of me. Primary school, second, always. I didn't get those sensitive tits yet. And I used to hear women say, not men, you better don't be playing with yourself because you're going to go blind. Oh, you think that's why I wear glasses? Yeah, right. Men never tell me that. You know what the guys used to say? If you don't relieve yourself, it's going to hurt your balls. That's what men tell us boys. If you don't, you're going to hurt your balls. You better play with them girls. But the women used to say, no, it's against the sin, all this shit. I never listened. Every opportunity I got as a kid, by definition, I touched myself because my fucking body, I gotta go piss. I have to hold my penis and urinate. I have to go to, I have to, it's me. So you're gonna tell me I can't play with my penis as a boy? Are you nuts? Imagine the girls. Most cultures, India, Africa, China, most cultures, they don't put their girl children through that. They don't put the young females through that. You know who put females through that? The West. The modern West. Christians. So when these females are denied the opportunity of socializing with boys or men, so they can enjoy the pleasures of being women, they sneak out at nights when their folks are asleep and they go with some low life somewhere just because they want to attend to that urge they have. That urge they have that they have no control over. If they have absolutely no means of sneaking out, they become rebellious. They become rebellious. They rebel against the parents. They're loud. They fight. There are problems in the home and they call them delinquent. delinquent boys and girls. But they very well know why these girls are behaving like that. They know that. Don't go with the boys because you'll get pregnant. And if you get pregnant, your life is over. These are the fears they instill instead of them telling the girls, listen, go on the pregnancy pill or let the guy use a condom. Because if you get pregnant, you know men, they just want some and then they're gone. Because they're speaking from experience. But you block them from socializing, they sneak out and they do it. And what is more dangerous to a lot of you hypocrites is when you push this kind of propaganda. It is propaganda. And you talk about the laws and the laws. We need to protect our children, protect our this, protect our that. All these things that you pushed in the West. Go to the East and talk that bullshit. Go to those countries, those conservative cultural countries, and talk that nonsense there. Even in Suriname, there's a part of Suriname that you can't say that shit. You can't. That's their culture, that's their tradition, that's their identity. If the girl starts to get her menstruation and she wants to get married, whatever age it is, get married. You think the cops can go and say they're arresting the man there? We allowed our societies to be penetrated by the Western so-called values. And as a result of that, the people who are victimized every time are the men. Every time are the men. But when these young females pursue these men, because they don't want boys, boys can't solve their problems. They want men with experience. They want experience. When they pursue these men and they consent, the same way all those young females can take the bus and travel 100 miles to their school, they can sit in the classroom by themselves and ace their test. They can prepare meals. They can go shopping. They can do laundry. They can clean the whole fucking house. They can babysit. They can run a business. They can work at the company, regardless of their age. The same way they can do that, they can do all of that, but don't fuck. Anything else you can do. But you are prohibited from having sex. The one thing that a female should have the freedom to explore because it's her body, she's denied by law. But everything else, go ahead, you can do it. Sex is the demon here. Sex is the evil. Sex is the evil. That's what they demonize in society. Don't have sex. Wait until your marriage. Who instituted that? You must be 18 years. Who instituted that? Show me in the Bible. Show me in the Gita. Show me in the Quran or any book for that matter, where it specifically said that a female has to be 18 years or 16 before she start having sex or get married. Show me. Don't tell me about law. Show me in the books that govern society. Because the laws say a lot of stuff that are bad for the communities. Show me in any book. You can't. There is none. In the Bible, Joseph, that later became Israel, he was in his 40s. In his 40s. When God chose for him a wife. And according to the Bible, that wife that God chose for Joseph, who was in his 40s, she wasn't 14. She was younger than 14, according to the Bible. Why don't you send a lawsuit against God? Why don't you bring that up and say, hey, how can God select these young girls for these? Yeah, your Bible says that. And there are many, 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 many more issues in the Bible where the females that were selected for the men were way younger than 18. Way, way younger. All were virgins. Who changed it? Seriously. I want to ask a direct question to a lot of females. And by the way, before I skip that, let me say this. Change the laws. The laws that you have against sexual age of consent, they're American. They're Western American laws. They're not Eastern. They're not Asian. They're not African. They're not Indian. They were pushed on these countries because America and their aid pushed, just like COVID, these things were pushed in our society because the Americans and all of their missionaries pushed. This is why men are so confused. This is why men are so frustrated. Because when you tell a man, no, you need to achieve stuff, you tell a woman, before you make babies, go to school, get a good job. She spent all her life, first 18 years, high school, 4 years of college, 22, 25, she got a degree. She has to get a settled in her job. She's 30 years old. 30 years old. Now, from the time she got her period at 11 or 12, the amount of times from then to 30, she would have masturbated, take some bottle, some beer bottle, some dildo, some comb, whatever she can find, because she couldn't get a dick, and she pushed it up herself because she urged for penetration. The amount she has done, the damage she has done to her vagina, because she could not get a real penis. And when she actually could get a real penis, she couldn't settle because she's studying. So she would have changed a lot of lovers throughout her life. Now, when she's 30 years old or 35 years old and she has a good job, she gets a good salary, now she decides to settle. And your son has to go and take that woman to make his wife, only to find out that her pussy is so fucked up that she can't even afford to get wet. And he could do whatever he has to do, he still can't satisfy her because she is so programmed. She is programmed to the vibrator, the dildo, her fingers, or somebody eating the pussy. He can't satisfy her. She gotta pretend. And most importantly, no kids. She's dried up. Her body cannibalized itself because it realized that, well, you haven't gotten pregnant in all these years, so I thought that you're old. I thought, what the fuck, just already menopause. Can't get pregnant anymore. Because of the West and our so-called values. That needs to stop. That police officer should be judged on the merit of his job. Is he a good police officer? Yes. Then why would you fuck with his private life? That's his private life. If he wants to have a relationship with a 15-year-old, that's his private life. She consented, he consented. She's a woman, he's a man. What's the problem? What's the problem? If we didn't have those man-made legislation, would it be a problem? He could go to Africa and enjoy a relationship. He can go to India, China, and enjoy a consensual relationship. He can go to those places where the culture, rules of the culture govern, and he can enjoy a relationship. But in our civilized society, you're going to put him in jail just because he consented and she consented to a relationship where they both liked each other, want to be with each other. You're going to fuck up his future because of a pussy and a penis. Tell me how that's damaging. Did he rape her? No. Did he force her? No. Did he drug her? No. What the fuck, man? You are destroying your society just because you want to sign on to some global whatever it is. This is a good point for me to switch to that. This is a good point for me to switch. All them hypocrites. You're talking about human trafficking. You're talking about this trafficking and that trafficking. Laws that were forced on Guyana by the international organizations, mainly the United States. All them laws that we have, all them organizations that we endorse as a country, where did it come from? Where did the funding come from? The US. The only country, the US. Not even the UN, the US. And whenever an act is committed that is directly aligned with these organizations, like they said, human trafficking, right? International human trafficking. You want to impress your sponsors. So you're sending people to jail without any bail whatsoever for alleged human trafficking. Now, what's human trafficking? Let's look at the drugs. Did you forget who's responsible for flooding the ghettos in America with drugs, cocaine? You forget who's responsible, right? Before they bring this law to create this war on drugs so they can control it themselves, who is responsible for that? Isn't it America and the white man? They're the ones. When they had control over it, it was okay. Free, you can travel. Oh, yeah. When they lost control, or they saw they're going to lose the control, no, we got to pass a law. That's how they get you every time. Pass a law. And then use our aid, USAID, our funding to get these countries to comply. They always do it. So the whole human trafficking thing, who started it? America. Pushed it on the rest of the world. What's trafficking? When people go to America via backtrack, that's trafficking. Anytime you enter a country, apart from the normal ports of entry, because you may not have the documentation, you might be a fugitive, you might be running away from something, and you go through the back. When you go through the back, that's trafficking. Whoever takes you, that person is trafficking you. You think trafficking is chop somebody up and put him in a bag? No. Trafficking is just facilitating the passage of someone away from the legal channels. So if somebody wants to, a parent is here, they don't have the documentation for their child, and they want the child to go to Guyana. But the child have a passport, no documentation. The parents need the child to go there. They have to find some means to get the child from here to there. And the means that they would find to have somebody bring the child to Guyana from Suriname, that's human trafficking. It's not always where you might fool somebody to say, hey, there's a lot of opportunities in Guyana for jobs. If you come there, you can get a good job. And when the person goes there, you know very well they don't have the skills. They don't have the qualification. Then you say, well, I got to send you back. The person don't want to go back. What else is there? Well, you got to work in the sex business, sex industry. You make more money. No, that female would have been a bitch already in her country. That's nothing new to her. You call that trafficking. We need to understand what is at stake here. They use every means necessary to break your country. Every means necessary. But all those people who Donald Trump is sending back to their countries, they were trafficked to the United States. That's human trafficking. The thing with Joe Biden, how much? 8 million who crossed the border illegally? That's trafficking. That's trafficking. Was Biden held responsible? Did he face jail time for that? Did Obama face jail time for that? No, because they're the big bosses, right? If you are directly involved and you traffic a few persons across the border, they get you. But the governments that are facilitating it because it benefits their economy, nothing is wrong with them. We have to know who we align with. I think what's better for Guyana is if Guyana slowly break ties with America and the West. Guyana should break ties with America and the West and gravitate towards China, Russia, and Africa, and these are the BRICS nations. Guyana don't need America. What the president is doing with this policy that he has implemented, his government has implemented regarding currency control, regarding banking, regarding trade and export, I am 100% with it. I'm with it. That is what damaged the Suriname's economy. What President Irfan Ali is doing right now, when he had the meeting with all the bankers, and the policy now to control credit cards and control people's spending and know that people aren't taking advantage of it, that's what Suriname needs. That free-for-all abuse of foreign currency, jacking up prices, taking advantage of the market, that is what continues to keep Suriname in poverty. That's why the country is terrible, because the capitalists in Suriname, they took advantage, they keep taking advantage of that, especially under the previous government, President Santoki. Not him, the people in his party abused it. It's the wisdom of the president of Guyana to control it, because let me tell you what that does. Guyanese should stand behind the policies of the president. I've said it before. Stand behind the policies of Irfan Ali, President Irfan Ali. Why? Because if you're smart enough, you'll understand what he's trying to do. He's a nationalist. Guyana first. Trump is doing the same thing, and we praise Trump. Trump is looking out for his own interests and the interests of his friends and America. President Irfan Ali has no interest but the interest of Guyanese people. If the president of Guyana was a capitalist, as we try to put it, and he was all about his friends, you think what he has done yesterday in terms of the policies that he proposed and would be pushing for, you think that benefits his friends? Most of the people in business are Indo-Guyanese. Most are largely PPP supporters. How would they benefit from that? They wouldn't. But what he's doing, it is for the people of the country. Guyana, he's not looking out for business interests. He's looking out for the interests of the Guyanese people. Because when there is a high demand, look at that, almost $1 billion plus American dollars. And the year we're now in October. What President Irfan Ali is doing, he is trying to strengthen the Guyanese dollar by creating a lower demand for the American dollar. What is so wrong with that? We have a beautiful country. For us to have a strong economy, as in a strong economy, it means the Guyana dollar has to be strong against the American dollar. The president is not sucking up to the Americans. He's not doing that. President Irfan Ali is sucking up to the Guyanese people. Because you are the ones complaining about prices. You are the ones complaining about how hard things are in the shops. You were complaining, you Guyanese, you were talking about, oh my gosh, the prices are so expensive, things are expensive, this is that. How the heck are prices supposed to come down if the president don't enforce strong policies regarding currency exchange? There must not be a high demand for American dollars in Guyana. Every product across the country should be sold in Guyanese currency. From hotels to cars to everything should be sold in Guyanese currency, not American dollars. So the people who always want to be paid in American dollars, let them get the fuck out of the country and go live in America. You're living in Guyana, but you want your payment in American dollars. Get out of the country, man. Go to America. The man is right. You need to travel. You put some money on your credit card. You go to the bank, say, hey, I need to go to another country, and because they don't accept Guyana's money there, is the US, okay, I put so much in the bank. You go with your credit card, you do your thing. Oh, how the heck How the hell you are living in Guyana and you want to pay for services and goods in Guyana using a credit card paying in US? You're a fucking idiot. You are a terrible person. They do it here in Suriname. Here in Suriname, they do it. They want you to pay them in dollars, in American dollars and euro. They don't want SRD. Yeah, a lot of hypocrites here in Suriname. Fucking hypocrites. They don't want you to pay them in Suriname's money. They don't have regards for that. You want to pay them, you have to pay them in dollars, American dollars, like you're living in America, and euro. I wish the government would stop that. So what President Irfan Ali is doing, I am 100% behind it. This is why I said 3 terms. 3 terms. I am with that. The man is correct. That is brilliant. It is brilliant. I'm with that. I followed it. I'm like, this is it. That's my kind of language. That is putting Guyana first. That is align yourself with countries who stand based on their national identity. Don't suck up to America. Look what America is doing, man. Look at what the US, and grab this. I'm with people, not governments. The American citizens who are standing up against the abuse that the American government is encouraging around the world, I'm with those people. I'm with citizens anywhere. People first. I'm not supporting governments, especially if these governments are causing their people to suffer and are sucking up to the Americans. I'm not with those governments. So, do I stand with Hindus? I stand with people. Because there are a lot of Hindus that are terrible. They're not real Hindus. There are a lot of Muslims that are terrible. They're not real Muslims. There are a lot of Christians that are terrible. They're not real Christians. But the people who stand for right and stand for their country and stands for justice, I'm with those people. I'm against what the American system is doing around the world. I'm against that. Remember when Venezuela rescued a lot of Guyanese from the Barnum regime? Remember those days when Venezuela did well? They were the richest country in this hemisphere. When they provided a lot for Guyanese during the Barnum time, don't forget that history. They were very kind, very accommodating, the Venezuelan people, towards Guyanese who fled from the massacre of Barnum. Also the Suriname people welcomed, accommodated. This is why a large percentage of the Suriname population are Guyanese. Look around you. So I'm not against those people. I'm against the Maduro regime that are killing his people. I'm against the American Democrats that are doing all they're doing, and now the Republicans are joining. But people are good. Guyana should align itself with India, Asia, China, Indonesia, some African countries. Align yourself with that. Get rid of American influence. Because American influence is not just American influence. There is the devil that controls America. And if I call that devil by its name, I'll get shut down. Because that devil all now controls social media. They control TikTok, they control Facebook, they control, I think, YouTube. I can't call the devil by its name. But you know what I'm talking about. You know. I would love to call it. I would love to speak out against it, but I can't. Because I'll be shut down. But when the world wakes up and the world comes together and the world stand in solidarity, then I'll talk. But for now, we have no freedom of speech. We're living in a dictatorship under the world that are being policed by the Americans, but the Americans are controlled by this one power that we can't speak against. Nobody can. If you do, you're shut down. And I need to communicate. I need to be here. But what I would say is President Irfan Ali is doing great with his banking system now. And persons who have to do payments, they should produce their invoices, rightly so. Don't just come to the bank and say, I need $10,000 because I have to. No. Western Union does it. If somebody sends you some money from another country and it's beyond a certain amount of money, they want to see what the money is for. So why can't the banks do it? If it's above a certain amount, you should get an invoice from the legitimate sources you do business with. Let the banks know that, hey, this is a company out of Guyana, and I can't pay them with Guyana's money. I need $10,000 or $20,000 to pay this company for this service or this product. And the bank would verify it, contact the company, get all the okay, good. That's how you bring some kind of normalcy in the society. That's how you boost the Guyanese currency. Okay? That's how you do it. So all them people working for foreign companies, yes, they should be paid in Guyanese dollars via the Guyanese banks. That's how you keep the money there. That's how you strengthen the dollars. Guyanese, look. President Irfan Ali, man, I tell you, I think God himself is talking to that man. I think God is communicating to that man. God really likes Guyana, not likes. God loves Guyana. Guyanese, God loves your country. God loves our country. This is why God is continuing to inspire our president. Those initiatives that he has, those plans and projects that he's coming with, no mortal man can come up with that. That got to be some kind of divine inspiration. Got to be some divine inspiration. That's what I want to see in a leader. That is what I want to see in a leader. And Guyanese, you have to stand behind it. Don't oppose it. Don't allow the PNC. The PNC is a disease to the Afro-Guyanese. This win party is a stumbling block that you have to get out of the way. We don't need them. The country don't need these people. Let Azruddin Mohammed just pay his taxes and go back to living a silent billionaire lifestyle. We don't need them. We have a government that is for the people. All the policies that are being enacted, follow the programs, listen to the president's presentation, look at his actions. This is not political talking. It's not political talking. No, you're making fun of the cash grants thing. Where did the man say? Where did the president say before the campaign? Where did he specifically said before the campaign that I am going to give cash grants before December? Where did it say? Word for word. Where did it say that? Where did he say that? You allowing these win people to manipulate these statements and then saying the president lied to get votes? To get what votes? The president never said that. He never said cash grants before December. The president said when the first set of grants were given, it's a one-off cash grant for the year. Next year, during the campaign, as the country earns, then the cash grants can increase. Earns. So all this crap they're saying about, oh, you said it for this, you said it for that. No. Be careful who you're getting your information from. Be careful who your sources are. Our president has not lied to the Guyanese people. Not before the elections, not during his 5 years, and he wouldn't start now. I'll be the first to call him out on it. So I'm telling you, be a proud citizen, encourage your government to stay independent, be independent, and stay sovereign. We need to build the Guyanese currency. make it strong against the dollar. We don't need the dollar to survive. There are lots of countries in CARICOM, in Latin America, that are manufacturing all the products we need. Everything they manufacture. India is making all the cars we can think about. You want to buy ships and planes and cars, and India makes it. China makes it. Whatever you can think about, it's made in China or India. We don't need America. We need nothing from America. Absolutely nothing. Or you think they'll protect us? From what? From what? From who? You really think Maduro is gonna annex Essequibo? Whatever Maduro is doing is because his perception is that Guyana is sucking up to the Americans. He's trying to get a confrontation with America by trying to use Guyana as his puppet. But he wouldn't. He's not out to this. If Chavez didn't do it, you think Maduro is that nuts? Is that crazy? He's not that stupid. The only partners we need as a country is India, China, and the continent of Africa. We don't need America or the West. We don't need them. For what? To keep us divided? Until next time. This is Dr. Love Prasad saying, thanks for being there. Share this live. I want to hear what you think. I want to read your comments. And don't worry. I got some thick skin. I understand. But until on the next live. For now, like I said, forgive me for the fluctuation of the time. This is because of my private schedule. In the future, we'll work it out. But for now, thanks for watching. Goodbye now.